Okay, I'm Felix, and we're going to talk today about the Airow gun and how to get it to shoot faster than 240 feet per second, because we all know these things shoot slow. Now, this right here is a absolute stock Airow gun. It comes with the Diamond Infinite Edge bow, and it's got the stock barrel and stock tube. It's all stock, okay? And there's a few things that I've done to make this thing shoot better. Now, this bow right here, the IBO speed of this is 310. So that's the speed of the bow. It's 310. And currently this is set up with a 29.5-inch draw. So that's how far you can pull it back. And it's set to 63 pounds for your pull. Okay, so that's our baseline. And every bow of this particular model can do that. It's a very adjustable bow, which is why they chose it. It's also cheap. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out there and we're going to shoot it a few times and establish our baseline of how fast this thing shoots paintballs. Let's go outside and take a few shots. So one thing to remember about these is it comes with this tube here, and I've experimented and got a little tiny hopper for it, and every time you shoot it, it just blends it. So that's why it comes with the tube. So you're going to want to stick with the tube instead of finding something else that's really fancy that just turns it into sludge, and then you have a bad day. So we got some paint in there. Take off the barrel sock, and then my assistant will hold the radar for me while I take some shots. And then I need my shooter. Hold on, excuse me. So a few things that happen that slow down your shot or screw you up when you're shooting these is if you're pulling this back and you're not directly in the center. If you're not directly in the center, it's going to go one way or another. And what's going to happen is when you shoot it, the arrow shaft here is going to drag against the inside of the piston, as you can see by the score marks in here where it's been doing that. And that's going to slow the shaft speed, and that's going to slow your shot down. Also, it's going to screw up your accuracy. So, and this is a bow release, and this helps you release it without putting any side-to-side pressure on it, which really helps your accuracy out a lot, which is why archers use it. So I'm going to take a shot, and then we're going to see how fast we go. Okay. 293. Okay, second shot. 288. Okay, third shot. 286. Okay, now that last one, I actually smelled it a little bit. It wasn't straight, and that's why the FPS was a little low, but also that's why it rubbed against that, which probably wasn't tight enough on this, because I took it off earlier and apparently didn't put it on tight enough. But that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a piston mod I made, and we're going to take that off anyway. So we're going to go inside and we're going to directly swap out the piston in the Airow gun. And the problem with the stock piston is it's Delrin, which is a self-lubricating plastic, but it's also molded. And so it's molded, it's not round. And so it's slightly oval shaped, and so you have some blow by in the piston. So I actually hired a machinist to make it on a lathe so it's perfectly round, and then basically sanded it down until it was the diameter of the bore to get that nice tight fit. And I saw an increase in feet per second. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap that piston with the stock one and see what our feet per second is on this totally stock bow and see how it does. So let's go inside. You'll notice there's a little bit of yellow piece right here. And that's because that little piece of plastic that comes with the bow got lost somehow, because it's clear plastic, and that's what happens. So what this is it's actually the outside sheathing of some electrical Romex cable, and I just cut it with a razor blade to fit. No big deal. Okay. All right, so when our ring here came off, we actually put a little bit of a divot right here right there on the tube. So I'm going to take my jeweler's file and fix it, then we'll get back to putting this piston in. Okay, so we were talking earlier about the measurement for the stock measurement for the piston. So here is a perfect good demo for it. So from the back of the piston, right there when it's installed, your mark is going to be 21¼ inches, and that's the stock mark that you use. And as you can see, I used a silver Sharpie to make that mark on this shaft because that tape just goes away. So that's your setup mark. That's the stock mark that you use to set up the gun, the Airow gun. And if you can't, if you're trying to put it onto a different bow, and your shaft is going to be too short, you're going to lose compression. So what you do is you can go to an archery shop and you can buy another Airow shaft, and then you can swap the ends onto it. But that's if you're using it on a different bow and your dimensions are all messed up. Also, if you knew that number and you were trying to set it up on something, maybe that'll prevent you from blowing the piston out the front like a lot of people have done, including me. Okay, now we're going to try this again. We got the new piston and then the stock shaft. We're going to slide it in here, and it's going to have a little tight spot right there because the bore on this one is a little bit tighter than the bore on mine that this was made for. Yeah, but it's going to go in just fine. Okay, and then don't forget that. That'd be done. And then put this on and make sure you're in the middle of your string here with that, so that you're not putting the Airow shaft high or low on there and risking it hitting the side and then slowing down your shaft, and then which slows down your paintballs. Okay, let's take some shots. Get the reader. Are you ready? Good. .293. You gotta hold it flat over it. .280. That's on. Oh, it touched the side. .289. Okay, well, I didn't really do anything. Whatever. Anyway, also, that might have to do with it being tight right here and creating that drag, which is slowing it down. On mine, yeah, it's smooth all the way through and doesn't have that drag, and I got a 20 feet per second increase. So, they're custom made for each piston, which that was why we're making this video, to find this out. So anyway, what we'll do here is we'll do my feet per second mod, which is I basically took this hole right here and I took the valve apart and I drilled this out, and then I tapped it and I put a little set screw in there to block off that hole, because that is letting air escape through that hole when the air is compressed and blows through it. So I'm going to put that screw in, and we're going to see if we get an increase in feet per second doing that. So in just a sec, get the screw. Anyway, so I really didn't drill this hole any bigger than the hole. I did the next size up that could fit a screw. So all you machinists out there will be able to figure that one out. I don't have the exact drill size and screw size off the top of my head, but whatever. The results matter. So I'll probably figure it out later and publish it, but realistically, we're just blocking off that hole. If that screw is too big, it's too long, it'll stick down in the orifice that this goes through and it'll block the flow, so you don't want that. You just want to fill that hole right there at the very top. So that's why it's pretty short screw. So let's try this again with the screw. Okay. loaded. 291. Did I do it? I did. 292. Uh-oh, that's going to double feed. There we go. All right, so maybe a little bit higher, but it seems like this thing caps at 290, which is fine. Now, let's do the barrel swap. This is a stock barrel. These barrels are bored very big at .693, and we're going to put one that's a little tighter, and it's going to be at 687 all the way down. And I'll show you in a second. Here it is. That's the other barrel. Same length, same spider thread. Okay. This one's ceramic barrel made by J&J. You can order the one that's 20 inches long, which is what this is. And they're $65, and they're actually more accurate because you know that paintball doesn't ricochet down the barrel. Now, because of the difference in design on these, and because the porting starts further back than that one, you're going to see a drop in feet per second. Okay, and it's going to be approximately 20. That's dead. Okay, let's do another shot. This is with a more accurate barrel. I got a 284. 274. 278. Right? So we saw a drop in feet per second because of the more accurate barrel. Okay? Now, it's not that much, but it's something, right? Now, here's the thing. If we remove the screw right here, we should see even a bigger drop. So, this screw blocking this hole is, I believe, compensating for some of that air loss down the barrel. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay. $267. 274. 270. Right? So we saw that we took that screw out and we got a lower feet per second out of it, right? And we had the drop from that more accurate barrel, but with more porting holes in it. It was causing kind of that drop, but also we took that screw out because that screw was compensating for that feet per second loss as well. So basically the three mods that I've done to my Airow gun, and I've gotten it shooting to about 260-ish feet per second, and that's with a different bow. It's with a Diamond Deploy SB, and its IBO speed is 330 as opposed to 310 on this. And my draw weight is at 60 instead of 63, but the draw length is still at 29.5. And because you have that faster bow, you're getting more blow by the piston. So by putting the piston in, I actually saw an increase in feet per second by about 20 feet per second. So anyway, But the three things that I did to this to mod this out is better barrel. J&J makes better barrel. I put that screw hole in there, and in this case I did the piston, and in this case it didn't do anything. But that's probably because it's got a the bore doesn't fit right, and it might be because it's got a slower bow. But on my other one, I put that piston in, and then I got a 20 feet per second increase on it. This one shoots pretty reliably, about 280 with the screw in and the aftermarket barrel, and my faster bow shoots 260 with the upgraded piston, the screw in, and the aftermarket barrel. So anyway,